Hello, my name is Josephine Lang, and today I'd like to talk about building healthy relationships. Our relationships are so important to us. They seem to center us in our lives, and if our relationships are not healthy or not happy, then our whole world seems to have sort of tumbled down. And if our relationships are good and if they're happy, then we feel good about ourselves and about the world. So, of course, all good relationships start with self-love and learning how to love the self enough to take good care of the self and to be kind to the self. But then we can branch out from there into our relationships that we have with other people. And one of the things that I have noticed in my relationships is that if I am feeling something from the other person, like if I'm feeling that they're being critical, or if I'm feeling that they are not loving me very well, or some other complaint that I might have, I like to do what some wonderful teachers, Gay and Kathleen Hendricks, recommended, which is to oil the hinge at the elbow. And that lets me stop pointing my fingers at them and instead turn and point my own finger at myself. And what happens when I do that is I go ahead and take a look at whatever the complaint that I might have about the other person. I take a look at where I may have had that same behavior in my own self. And this does require some self-reflection and some introspection. So I take the time to really evaluate my own behavior in relationships. And then I will usually find some variation, some flavor, some degree of that same behavior that I'm accusing the other person of in my own self, that I have actually done to them first. And so that's the first place that I like to start in relationship dynamics. Now, there are, of course, deal breakers, and there are situations where a relationship just reaches a point where it's not so beneficial for us to continue. Some examples of some deal breakers that I can think of would be addictions, or one person wants children and the other person doesn't. There's many things like that. Spending habits, problems along those lines that can really cause a relationship to be at odds. However, if we can find ways to work on our relationships to go ahead and increase the quality of our own response and our own interaction with other people, then we have a greater peace of mind where we can work on our spirituality. And so this is one of the reasons why I really like to cultivate good, healthy relationships. And another major tool for that is conversation. Remembering to take the time every day to chat with one another, sit down, have a cup of tea, share each other's lives. And this is especially important if there is problems that have come up in a relationship. We need to keep the lines of communication open. And so asking the other person what's going on and continuing to ask until they're able to share, those are good things to keep in mind for habits for healthy relationships. One last point is we all tend to have habits in our thoughts, and sometimes we tend to get into the habit of regularly being offended or regularly feeling put down or whatever it might be. And so to just notice yourself, take some time to look at yourself and learn about yourself. I have a little creed that is an ancient creed, and it's called Know Thyself. And this is one of the ways that we can, settle down in meditation and watch our thoughts and see where we tend to go. And notice if there's any patterns there, because they're likely to show up in our relationships if they're showing up inside ourselves. That is, after all, the primary relationship, the one that we have with ourselves. We often think the primary relationship is the one with parents, that we have with our parents, but actually it's our own relationship with ourselves. So cleaning up our own self can really help clean up from within, can really help clean up our relationships from without. So thank you very much for listening, and please visit my website, stepintomagic.com. Bye for now.